Hello and welcome once again to another episode of Third Action. I am your host, Jason, and these are the same three library books that were here last week. In the bottom left, we have Asher Ford, Human Ranger, played by Char.
Hello.
I was like waiting for the audio.
Oh.
In the bottom middle, we have Greshy Ironroot, Dwarven Druid, played by Will.
I've not turned to dust yet. Yay.
That's good. And
Unlike some library books I know.
Also still in one piece, we have Gunn, Shough, Champion of Erastil, played by Adam.
I've long since turned to dust, so.
All right. Somehow you're like the youngest party member.
Strange how that works.
Yeah.
Greshy
So,
the oldest?
ooh, I think Asher's the
Technically,
oldest. Oh.
Damn it. How is Greshy so young?
Sorry, is Greshy
Greshy's
the
the
oldest?
oldest, I'm
Greshy's still the
pretty sure.
oldest. Okay, you're right.
He's in his 60s.
I have
Yeah,
to
okay.
age down Asher because he acts like a moron.
And Greshy is a dwarf, so it's a little weird for the age thing, but he's in his 60s, so.
Well, in any event, ages aside, last time on Third Action, our group of intrepid adventurers split the party for good this time. Well, not really for good, just for an extended period of time. While Gunn
Good
returned. I guess I skipped something. You had a series of nightmares, each of you. Otherwise, Gunn, you returned. You took the survivors, the formerly kidnapped citizens of Sandpoint, over towards the Storval stairs on your quest to return to Sandpoint. So you're kind of going ahead of the rest of the party, while Greshy and Asher decided to stay behind to do a little bit of researching, to finish up learning what they could about Thassalon and Thessalonian, and yeah, see if they could get a bit of an edge or some additional understanding on what the hell is even going on. That has
So in the time that they've been researching that, have we and the other folks made it as far as the Storval stairs?
That is a good question that I meant to double check. So you're not able to go obviously as fast as you would like to,
Right.
or as fast as you would go by yourself, since you have to kind of move as fast as your slowest member, and the slowest townsperson is injured, so they can kind of help each other out, or you can help the most injured people forward, but they're not terribly fast. I always forget the speeds. Travel speed 479. Yeah. So in a day, you can probably go about 12 miles. While you're in the mountains, that's difficult terrain, so you're probably only going 6. So let's see. It's going to get you over to the map. And you guys are over here. I made the map a little bit bigger so that we could actually see the entire everything that's going on.
Okay.
But so you guys were up in the Iron Peaks, and with about you've had, what have you had so far? Just 1 day of travel?
That's it. I thought it was 2.
It was 2
But
days.
we also
Yeah,
had
you had the
giants escorting, right?
Yes, you have the giants going with you. So it certainly is, with a big group like that, with some giants on hand, not much really decides to assail you, as it were. Most wildlife would steer clear of a big group like that. save for maybe a manticore or something similar. But luckily, none managed to cross your path as you guys make your way out of the mountains. So, yeah, it is about 12 miles to get out of the mountains entirely. So, you'd probably end up about, let's say about here, over the course of the first 2 days. So that's Kuthona the first and Kuthona the second. Assuming that you're not trying to do some kind of grueling pace. Or
No,
whipping the
not trying to do a
townspeople.
grueling pace. However,
However,
yeah. No, well, however, that's like less than half the speed we made coming in before we started flying. So, if I remember right, I'm just
yes.
never mind. Go on.
Yeah, it is. It is
Yep,
a lot
we're going
slower.
really slow.
Yeah, the slowest person, your group is 15 feet, which slows your travel pace down to 12. And then when you're traveling in difficult
That-
terrain, I think
that
before you
makes
had
sense. That's what
Asher
I
who
missed.
sped you up,
Mm-hmm.
so you didn't have to worry about the difficult terrain. Oh, and you were flying over it. These people can't fly, unfortunately.
Is there
they-
only? Are there enough? Yeah. If there was enough people to help the slow injured people along some way,
That kind of already
they
is
didn't give us. They didn't give us any horses.
the giant-sized the giants have
carts, the
mammoths.
giants.
They have mammoths, but no horses.
Well, they didn't. There were no horses in the camp. Okay.
No.
Yep. That's what I was.
Yeah, they did
checking.
not keep human-sized horses around for events like this.
Makes sense.
One on
Ow.
each foot.
At
I
one
figured
point, you suggest to
ended
the
up
giants whether or
with
not they
some-
could help out with the people, and one of them offers to carry some people inside a bag. But you probably think the better of
No, that'll be okay. Thanks.
doing so. Sorry, but you had a question?
No, I was just thinking like if they ended up with some horses somehow, would they have even kept them? And I guess probably not.
No, any horses they would have had, they
Good
probably
food.
would have eaten. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
But once you make your way out of the mountains proper, it seems like you'll be able to get a much better pace, especially as people are starting to feel a little bit better, have some like fresh air. They've been in those caves for so long.
Okay, that'll help.
Thing I forgot about, Greshy. I need you to make a fortitude save.
Why would you ask that? Everything's fine. You asked me to make a fortitude save out of nowhere. Oh, I
You're
get
fine.
31.
31. Let's see. I wrote it down all the way over here.
Is that because we uncursed but didn't remove disease?
That's
Correct.
awesome.
Yes. So you were in stage 2 before?
Sure.
Oh, that's funny. How do you get out of this? Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I get. Okay, so
You would need to.
on the morning of the first, you wake up a little bit groggy, but otherwise fine. After a minute passes, you need to make another fortitude save.
Oh, all right. And that's much worse. That's a 24.
Do you want to keep that one?
Yes.
Okay.
Not much point
So yeah, you
fighting
spend
for another minute.
1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Are you sure?
It's gonna go every minute until it gets you.
Is it?
That's what I remember.
Well, that was only because you had not gotten rid of the curse part.
Ah,
So currently you're in stage 1, which is carrier with no ill effect, but that only lasts for 1 minute. After 1 minute, you make
Okay.
another save. If you succeed the save, the disease is gone. This failure
But
is going
since
to
I
cause
failed
you
to
to
save-
take
oh, I see.
a bunch of damage right now. So you can choose to use your hero point right away
Fine.
or not. You don't have to.
I am going to pass on using my hero point. Let's take it straight to the gut.
Okay. It's a lot of
Greshy just
sixes.
dies.
On D12s, right?
So it's 34 points of...
On D4s, actually.
34 points of negative damage that you take. And you were stupefied 2
Ow.
for Guthona the First. So you've already kind of done
Okay.
that day.
Sure.
Maybe on the second, remember to prepare remove disease
Well, that's what I would have done on the first,
in
if
like
this had
every
actually happened on
slot.
the first.
In
Okay.
like every slot from level 3 to 6.
Well, I feel like that's a bit much, isn't it?
do what you feel
Just
is
in
necessary.
case.
Okay, so you would have woken up that day on the first. You'd feel pretty shit after about a minute or so of being up.
I mean,
Does the
if,
day go on
if
as
I would have
normal,
been
or
able to still prepare,
yeah, you still have time.
if
to
I
do
would have
your
been able to
preps.
prepare, then I would have prepared remove disease at level 7
Okay.
to finish off the rest of it.
Not that it appears to have any. Oh, I guess it's a counteract check, so yeah, you'll get the benefit of
hmm
beating the level of the spell.
Okay, so how many times did you prepare it?
Only once.
Okay, so go and roll a flat check because you're stupefied, so you might fail to cast the spell.
That's fine. That's an 8. Does that succeed on a stupefied?
You just barely
Okay,
succeed. It's 5 plus the stupefied value, so a 7.
Hey.
Okay, so
I
you managed to
succeed in
cast the
casting
spell.
That's good.
And then remove disease. So you're casting this
It
at...
attempts to counteract one disease afflicting.
Okay, go ahead and
seventh.
roll a caster check. This should basically work unless it's like a... Unless you crit fail.
What is that? Just rolling a nature check, I think, or
It is rolling like you were doing a spell attack, basically.
oh, that's right. Okay, well, I'm just going to do a spell attack. Then it makes it easier
Yeah.
because I don't have it prepped otherwise. So produce flame as I purge myself. That's a 39.
Okay, so yes, you succeed in burning away the disease. So then you would have
Very
continued that
unpleasant, but
that day as normal. I just remembered as when I saw
Okay.
the. I had a sticky note
that's-
here, but
that-
it was buried under everything else.
completely fair point. I actually did have a question. Did we
Yes.
send the travelers off with food?
Yes, they would have taken some amount of food that the giants had prepared, so they
Okay.
would have some food with them. I'm not sure.
As long as they do.
Would you have given
I
Gunn
would
the
have
yurt,
probably
or do
taken
you guys
the-
have the yurt?
I would have given them the yurt. I can create food and water, so I'm not really up in a place where I need it. So
definitely-
I don't
can
need
provide
food
for
and
Asher and
water.
myself. Well, myself and Phelan, I suppose.
Sure.
I can always forage.
But they can use the yurt, and I suppose Gunn can forage a bit. I just wasn't sure how well it'd go out in the mountains.
Greshy,
Yeah,
I found a dead bird.
that is a good point.
Eat it.
The giants that are with you are decent enough at hunting, but they did bring enough food for the first couple of the first 2 days to get out of the mountains. So, with
Alright.
that plus the yurt, which I think provides food, right?
For 10 people.
Oh, it does. Oh, right. It provides like 10 space. Okay. Yeah, you're fine. As far as that time, as far as food goes for those first couple of days. Okay. So Guthona the Second, I think we haven't done anything this day. This was just the morning of you had finished wrapping up some learning about some of the Runelords. You had asked about, I believe, Karzug and Zandercool, I think. And so around 10 a.m. is kind of when you wrap up your research on that.
And we had slept while still doing this, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Okay, just making
So
sure.
you can re-prepare spells or anything you want.
It's different.
We also learned about the fellow who was the architect of the towers, the laser towers.
Yes, you did some research into
Oh yeah, the
Zaliasa.
traitor.
Yeah.
Zaliasa.
Daliasa.
There seems to have been some kind of double, quadruple agent between Elasnist and Karzug. Seemed to have worked for both of them at various points in his career.
What about the Rune Forge, I think?
Yes, you also did learn a few things about the Runeforge as well. But not a lot in that research, so... yeah, I guess... let's start with Gunn. I guess the Storval Stairs are still a ways away. You guys are traveling at 12 miles. You'll not quite get there today. But you'll get pretty close.
Okay.
All
right. Well, my plan is to at least stay with the townsfolk past Wolf's Ear, because reasons.
Sure. Some people in your group are actually going to be stopping off. Some people in your group are actually going to be stopping off at Ravenmoor, and others are probably going to go peel off towards Roderick Cove and other places.
Yeah, we may be able to get them all on a boat at Ravenmoor.
Yeah, that's true.
Then they can take the long way down. It'll be fine.
People seem fairly nervous, but otherwise content to be saved. Many of them haven't made this kind of long overland journey without a cart or something before, and being this far off the beaten path has got some particularly antsy.
I'll try to keep people's spirits up.
Okay, give me a diplomacy check.
By telling stories about everything we've seen. Not the broader story, but the individual stories about the things we've fought. It didn't do great, but it's a 26.
Okay. Your stories are inspiring to a few of the people who are really interested in your travels and who have heard about you since you first appeared in Sandpoint a few months ago. Or, yeah, I guess, basically. But the majority of the others are still a bit antsy, still a bit wary. But nobody acts out. Everyone still, seems perfectly content to travel along. So you'll go ahead and, presuming that you're just going straight for the Storval Stairs, you'll get your 12 miles. Putting you about there. Alright. Greshy and Asher, what would you like to research today? Or what would you like to do today?
What would we like to research?
That's a good question. Not sure what else we could learn from here that we really need to know.
Let's go dive in the Storval Deep and find the buried city underwater as our new adventure.
Is that where we should know?
I don't think that's a good idea at all.
I was going to say, I'm not sure how that connects, but it's We'll
I
give
was
it a shot.
looking at the map and I'm like, how big is Magnamar? It's like this little dot, and then I look at the Storval Deep, which takes up many, many big dots.
There are quite a lot of dots that would be there. Quite a lot of people who would have been there too. Well,
Forget if I asked last time. But is there a book about... I'm not sure if these would be monuments to them back in the day, but like the monuments, like the dam or the big bridge, or is there like a book on like their significance, or were they just like so actually kind of insignificant that they wouldn't even have a book?
Sure, you could do some research on that. Give me a society check. If you want to spend a couple hours digging into
Let's check.
some of the various monuments you've seen around.
34 for
Okay.
me.
All right.
Pretty good roll for me.
So curious about the giant bridge in Sandpoint, the arch in Riddleport. Sorry, not this bridge in Sandpoint. I meant Magnamar. The old light in Sandpoint. You do some research into a couple of these that you've heard about or have seen. The Great Bridge in Magnamar seems to be something of Elasnist's construction. It was basically the entry road into her kingdom capital, and spanned like 30 miles. It was a massive bridge over what was it was like a river in like a valley down below. You're not able to find anything that matches the arches in Riddleport. Obviously, you know what the thing in Sandpoint is. You do find records of Skull's Crossing, again, which seem to have been built after Karzug completely razed Malistoke and buried it underwater, which he built it up with the skulls of the dead. Trying to think of any others that you would have. You do find something interesting with the 34. It seems that Karzug had a great number, though he fought his wars primarily with rune giants, a very large breed of giant. He also was known for having these kind of superstructures, these like walking statues that towered many hundreds of feet tall, and could level cities with a punch. And the description and pictures of one, the shape of the head seems oddly familiar to you. And thinking on it, you remember Thistletop, where you fought the goblins. That shape in the water looks, some of the construction, the intricacies of just how it's formed, match the shape of one of these stone giants' heads. So it's quite possible that this is like the remnant of one of Karzug's war machines, basically. His stone giant mecha.
And that's what the reading of the rock had, was the laser beam shooting at stone giant. Okay. That's kind of cool. Hope those don't come back.
I could definitely use without stone giant mechas. Doesn't sound very pleasant.
I don't know if last time we looked this up, was there anything on... I don't know if I wrote this correctly, but Lysala? Is she the goddess
Lysala is the goddess of
Lysala?
runes, who seems to have...
Yeah, the weird one.
Yes, the kind of snake lady goddess. You could try to research a bit more into her specifically, sure. This would be a religion check.
Ooh,
Aided by
Might
the
I
library.
assist on that?
Skill.
Uh,
Yes, please assist.
Only one of you can do the roll at a time because Greshy can't
Okay.
understand Thessalonian, so basically the Asher's assistance would be finding the books and reading them out to Greshy.
Well, you go ahead then.
Good luck to me.
I mean, how bad could it be, really? What's the worst that could happen,
We're
really?
about to find out.
Natural one.
Greshy, no! Fuck,
Okay.
This might be a reroll situation.
How important is it?
I don't know, is it?
I'm
We
asking
know
how
nothing.
important.
Yeah, we
we
know
don't-
nothing about her.
We don't. We really don't.
And she seems to be important because of the Sahedron.
She was somehow one of the other gods that was worshipped in conjunction with, or in competition with the peacock god, the peacock
Yeah,
spirit.
she's older than the peacock. She's
She
the
does.
one that
She does seem to predate.
And nobody
the one
knows
that
about her
Zin-
now.
worshipped and learned about when he learned the rune magic.
Hmm.
Like she taught him the rune magic, I think. Whereas the peacock is something that seems to have been like made up by what's his name,
Sanderghoul. Hmm.
to keep his people in line or something. Like no one ever heard of the peacock god before he came along.
Started peacocking about it.
Yeah.
He was like the Scientology of his day.
Yes. That's my impression.
So I personally want to reroll this.
Well,
That's
if you want to
Going
reroll it,
and
reroll it.
hope that nothing else comes up that I'll need. Okay, it's not much better. 21. But it's
Okay.
better than a 1.
Yeah, natural 5 for 21. So aided by the library and the librarian, and some ideas from Greshy, you do some digging on Lysala. And what you're able to find over the course of an hour or two is admittedly maybe a bit thin. You do find many of her earlier texts. Actually, do I have any names of those? I might consult the book instead of doing it off the top of my head.
Where's your fantasy textbook name generator when you need it?
They don't have one. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So yeah, looking into Lysala, so she seems to. Her tenets seem to be fairly positive. The couple of Lysalan texts you find, like her equivalent to the Bible, and a few other sacred texts, seem to all be about sharing knowledge. Where's my notes on Lysala? Let's see if I can give you anything else really. Interesting. So yeah, I mean, you do learn that you already knew that she was the one who granted. Her texts seem to imply that she's primarily the one responsible for gifting rune magic to Zin. And it's described more as a gift rather than something that he created, on his own or without any help. She is. A lot of her texts seem to be very concerned with just rewards, and like rewards for good faith, rewards for adhering to virtue, rewards for being a hero and a heroic person. It's all about like what you do in life is supposed to be towards some reward that you're supposed to get in the end, or during life even. She's very concerned with it's a lot of stuff on like fate and purpose and nothing that seems like particularly evil. She seems largely like a lot of these texts seem to imply that she's all about virtue, and her faith is very much about being a virtuous person so that you can be judged highly and get an excellent reward from her in the end. But you do find one slightly newer looking tome. It is dated after, like, much later than some of the others. This one seems to be... This is a gilded tome. It is, like, Lysala viewed through the lens of greed. And it's clearly written by a scholar in Zinshalast. And this one, though it is here in the library, is missing quite a few pages. And when you ask the librarian about it, he says that it was damaged in the fight that you guys just had the other day. And it's lost some of the pages. But it has
Does
a
he
very...
know what was in those pages?
No, the librarian hasn't read every book in here. He mostly just catalogs their
For shame.
locations.
As a robot, he should
How
have them all
dare
loaded up.
He has like a floppy drive level storage. It's
Mhm.
very old.
The Clockwork Librarian literally has a crank. He's not super advanced.
I can fit a single essay on this.
It's amazing. Like, most of his space is taken up by his AI. It's like all operating system, no room for storage. But it does seem this like semi-religious text seems to be a lot more. A lot of the rhetoric has changed that you can see. It does seem to be just a lot more selfish in general, and all this talk about reward is a little bit less like do good things to get the reward that is like befitting your tasks. It's more like take what is owed to you and like do things to create the rewards that you deserve or that you feel you deserve. It feels very twisted from her original or from the earlier text that you can find. It feels very corrupted. Whether or not this is just like a splinter faith, or she has perhaps twisted over time, over the course of this empire, she perhaps changed from being a deity of good to being a more selfish deity. You're not really sure. Yeah,
Something kind of tells me, my wild guess is that all of the different little cities and sins have their own book about what to do, since they've, I guess, like, bastardized the symbol. But who am I to say? Yeah, I was just mostly, I had been curious of, like, was she evil and that's why everyone kind of went weird, or did everyone, like, take somewhat good teachings and then kind of go crazy with them, which it seems like the second one. might be the case
It
here.
could go either way.
Yeah.
Like it's, I mean, and it could go either way and still have the same effect. The question in my mind is she actually a good deity, or is she evil, or is she neutral? And it's just like whatever you make of it. Like, and did her alignment actually change
Mhm.
because her worship changed?
Yeah.
So
Does it matter?
No.
maybe.
Well, I'm asking if we.
Different opinions.
It's interesting question as it is. I'm not sure if it's relevant. If it is, great. But if not, there may be other mysteries worth delving into, or other things we could do instead.
In the
My
long ru-
curiosity. Oops, sorry.
in the long run, it'll be interesting because if it is in fact the Runelords themselves that changed the goddess, like there could be a way to change her back.
Very
Okay.
redeemer.
I
I like
was just thinking that.
it. Love it.
Like,
Sort of my
Gunn.
thing.
Gunn,
I
get out
like-
of my head. You're not even here.
Well, I think
How
it's
can I hear you so clearly?
interesting. So, what's interesting to me is that very little I know about gods, and I don't particularly care. But it's interesting that most of the followers that we've seen who have the Sahedron are worshiping not Lasala, they're worshiping Lamashtu. Seems a little like they're fake fans of the Sahedron to me, but you know, it's interesting that they're worshiping a different goddess, I guess. So did something happen?
Just set
Anyway,
off some alarm bells in my head, but I'll have to wait until you guys catch up to
Ooh.
All right. Well,
ask about
It's an
those.
interesting thought. I guess
I mean,
The
I guess
other
with that,
thing-
you could kind of see. I'll show you again what Lasala,
oh yeah,
a depiction of
there she
Lasala.
is.
A lot of the followers that you've seen of Lamashtu have been Lamia,
Yeah,
which
that
are
is a
half snake
curiosity.
people, or a lot of them are half snake. They can be half other things. But
Yeah,
from your
'cause,
reading, she does seem to be a very distinctly different goddess than Lamashtu. And Lamashtu is referenced a couple of times in these tomes, so it seems like Lamashtu existed at this
Okay.
time.
Ooh, what if they got into a fight? Anyway, I think the other thing I had wanted, I don't quite remember. I'm just trying to go through what I remember from last time. But did we look up anything about what rune magic actually was? Do we know anything about that, Greshy? Or
I don't think we did. We could take some time to do so now,
I
so we
will
can learn much.
see if I can learn anything about that, because that would be a new magic to me.
I will stand here and encourage you.
Thanks.
Okay.
I'll try and read.
Yeah, you can. This would be an Arcana check. I mean, either of you can roll the check, so you could choose whoever's the highest. But you can't really aid.
No, I see what you're saying. I've got an 18.
I have a 16.
All right, I'll roll the Arcana check, I suppose.
Get in there.
It's not a great roll. It's a 26.
26. Okay.
Yeah.
So at Greshy's direction, you start digging up a variety of tomes on the magic of Zin, this rune magic, and aside from the kind of basic history stuff, you do learn that I don't remember how much I've discussed this before, if at all. But what makes rune magic... So rune magic is a subset of arcane magic. To practice this, you generally would need to be an arcane caster, or be able to cast arcane spells. And what makes... and a vast majority of these are wizards. It is a type of magic that you get primarily through intense study. and the way it kind of works is that you, at least beyond Zin's initial creation of rune magic, but beyond him and his kind of mastery of all the schools, it was seen as like the best way to master a school of rune magic was to effectively denounce two other schools, completely reject all of their teachings, refuse to cast any spells of those kind, refuse to like even like be near or touch any of that type of magic. And I can show you again.
I'm halfway there.
the wheel. But to be the best greed caster you can be, which is transmutation, you would need to reject the 2 points of the Sahedron that are opposite it. So to be a master of transmutation, you would need to disregard enchantment and illusion. You would need to basically hard get rid of those spells from your knowledge, completely eschew ever casting or knowing anything about those spells really ever again, and focus your studies intensely on the art of pure transmutation. So it's transmutation without enchantment and illusion. Likewise, necromancy is, or gluttony is the removal of lust and envy, wrath is the removal of envy and sloth, etc. So the Runelords really perfected this style of, it sounds like they were able to make much more potent spells than a normal wizard could by building this like stronger pillar of magic. So it's also sort of said that because they eschewed their 2 kind of opposing schools, those also were kind of their weaknesses. So it's like you take on a big, 2 glaring weaknesses to like develop a really powerful strength. It's kind of the gist of it. It seems like all the Runelords, or all the different schools of magic were able to come up with a variety of spells. You see a few mentioned by name that you've never heard of before. Spells like Blood Money and Covetous Aura. But you don't know how you would cast any of those. There's not much information you're able to derive or really understand on how to cast that stuff. That kind of.
So,
Okay.
My question, I guess, I don't know if this would have answers, but is it to say you want gluttony and you had necromancy? The answer might just be yes to this, but does it make spells that you'd already know more powerful, or do you just make more powerful spells by yourself, like create new ones?
Both. You make your necromancy spells more powerful, and you can learn and master even more powerful necromancy spells.
Okay.
So yeah, you get both benefits. You get stronger spells of your base type, and you get access to a whole new world of possibilities as far as like the apex conjuration spells, basically. If you were a conjurer, or the top tier transmutation spells if you were a transmuter. The magic
they thought at the time, at least. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry for the interrupt. There might be
No,
a
go ahead.
delay thing.
It's lag, yeah.
What I was gonna say. No, I've lost it. Oh, so what they just assumed, I guess, or was it proven fact that like you couldn't get to these higher tier spells by doing it the nice way?
Yes. It seems like Zin had this idea that, yeah, by embodying these virtues, you could reach the peaks. And as soon as he set up that was his theory, and he set up the set of 7 Runelords to kind of study, and be these virtuous beacons and master these schools. But as Zin aged and he like influenced them less and less, they all kind of independently started to realize that, hey, it's actually the power of evil is much stronger than the power of good. And in some senses, like, lust is like loving too hard. A lot of it, the way they corrupted these sins was basically by trying to pursue them to their peaks and kind of accidentally peering beyond the veil and then deciding, hey, beyond the veil it looks cooler, so we'll go live there instead.
It's more fun over here.
Yeah.
Was that the original rule with the virtues too? Is that you just kind of picked one and then the other two you kind of ignored?
Yes, yeah.
Was it just with this?
Yes,
Okay.
it was like you could. Zin's idea was that you focus on one at the detriment of two others. But the corrupted version is just the hardcore version of that again.
See, that's where he went wrong. If you focus too hard on one, then everyone gets evil. So don't learn things too hard. That's the lesson.
Yeah, don't
Learn them
obsess.
Don't have a major or a PhD in anything, or you'll be a powerful wizard. Which sounds pretty cool, actually. Awesome. Well, I don't know if I have more questions at this moment. Did we want to learn anything else about anyone, Greshy?
I don't have anyone else in mind.
Yeah, I think we've got.
So yeah, I think so far you asked about Xandergul and Karzug, but I don't think you've asked about any of the other Runelords in detail. And yeah, you've asked about Lysala, about rune magic in general, about
We
the
asked about
history.
Elasmist.
You have not asked about Elasmist.
I think you were
considered it
going
and then
to,
did
so
not.
Yeah, I was like, we
should.
should probably do that.
Hi.
Yeah, we should do that since we're. Where are we headed after this, or are we making our decision? I guess we're going to Gunn. We have to collect.
Well, we're gonna meet up with Gunn. We're gonna take everyone back to Sandpoint, and then I think we were going to check out the ruins.
So it might be good to know a little more about the Wrath Lord.
If that's part of her domain.
Yeah, she has her statue there.
Mm-hmm. So, what would we need to roll to find out more about Elasmist?
That would be society.
I've got an 18.
I have a 16.
All right, I'll give it a roll again.
Society's one of my worst.
Ugh, that's only a little better. 27.
Okay, 27. Again, still pretty good with the help of the library. Still have an old picture of Elasmist. Kinda do, yeah. So, Elasmist. As far as you can tell, she seems to have been the last Runelord of Wrath. Her predecessor was Thybidos, Thybidos. Elasmist had been apprenticed to her father, and had this. She's very like anime protagonist. Had this like dream of becoming the strongest there ever was. To do that, a little bit less anime protagonist. To do that, she went and made a deal, a pact with some entity that's only referred to as Yamasoth, Yamasoth. This entity granted her the knowledge of flesh warping, which she used to create a variety of creatures, including Wreath Claws and Sinspawn. She used this knowledge to go on a quest, basically, to become a Runelord. and claimed. She basically went down into hell. Went to this place called the Ivory Labyrinth, and effectively beat the shit out of some demons to take back Alderpash's skull, which had been imprisoned by Baphomet. Alderpash was the first Runelord of Wrath. With the skull, she returned back to Zin Bakr Khan and challenged Thybodos to a duel. Thybodos lost the duel, after which point she slayed his entire family and all of his descendants, but kept him... Did she keep him alive? No, sorry, that's a different person who kept their predecessor alive. No, she killed him and killed all of his family. To make sure that no one would ever rise up to fight her again. At that point, once she became Runelord, she very quickly became embroiled in territory wars with Karzug, her closest neighbor. And it basically seems like she was just in an never-ending conflict with him. Constantly building new technology and fighting border wars, and eventually developed these hellstorm flumes with the help of some of her engineers, and she was able to use those to push back one of Karzug's latest pushes into her territory, and that's kind of where the stories about her cease. She seems to be very aggressive. She loves a challenge, or all the stories seem to talk about her as loving challenges. She doesn't have a large group of friends, as it were.
She doesn't need friends.
Yeah, most of the people who work under her do so out of fear. But yeah.
No, she doesn't seem like a very pleasant person.
That is what you were able to find out about her.
She went to hell and grabbed someone's skull and then came back and someone said, "I'll fight this lady." I would have just left.
I wouldn't blame you either.
Figure out about how it all ended? Because it seems like right up until the end there were still 7 Runelords, until suddenly there were 0.
And it's that suddenly Earthfall part.
Mm-hmm.
That's
you
big
learned
mystery, and
you did learn a little bit about about Earthfall. You can spend more time, so you're getting towards the end of the day. You could try to spend more time to see if you can find anything else about Earthfall.
I think I will do that.
Well,
even when you fail checks in here, you could obviously just spend more time to keep going. So it's kind of up to you to how long you want to.
All right, so it's not like
how much time we want.
Notebook.
Yeah.
So for what it's worth,
Mhm.
on my horses, we can make it to the Storval Stair in a day.
Okay.
So actually, it should take less than a day, but
Is that where we were meeting?
I'm just saying,
okay.
if we are meeting them at the stair, then it will only take us a day. If we're not meeting them at the stair, just keep it in mind, we should have very little issue catching up.
Well, I would sit here for months.
Maybe not months.
Months and months. Poor
And
Gunn.
I know you don't need to eat and all, but you should still get some sunshine.
He's just sitting there shaking and turning pages. I don't have to eat. I just have to read.
See, this is what I was worried about with Asher getting into the occult. Perhaps Aldrin did touch his head.
Asher has bags under his eyes.
History. I'll never sleep again. Is there a stone for that?
I've seen this before. It's a mind quake.
Never leaves the library. I'll never die. He just becomes a library NPC. It's like you show up as this crazy old man who
He's just the new librarian.
changes into animals and won't stop reading books.
Maybe that's Asher's
No, I'm
post
imagining
game.
Asher turns into this like Asher turns into like a cat, but it's got this really long beard because Asher can't imagine himself without the beard now because he's so old.
It's just like all the way down. I never shaved it. Ever since Greshy left, I couldn't.
It's like it'll
took
be
all
like
sharp objects
the
with him.
owl from Avatar, who lives in that library and gets
Oh,
mad
yes.
when people look at his books.
He'll get mad. He'll sink the library even farther into the earth. So, like, how dare you come into my library seeking, I guess. to
Why
hurt
would you look at a
people.
place where I store books for books? Why would you come here for that?
I do
Yeah,
have
ridiculous.
secret end game if Asher survives ideas, but that's for later.
We'll keep that secret. Do you guys have anything else you want to
I will.
research for this day?
No, just Earthfall, I think.
Earthfall? Okay. Give me a check you think would be appropriate. I would take Society by default, but if you have some other thing you think would be more interesting to roll, then you can roll that instead.
I would say nature.
Yeah, I would argue nature, but I don't know if Earthfall was natural.
Astronomy. If it's something that came from the stars or outer space, I'm imagining if it's something that fell,
I thought it would be like an
it may be something where they saw it coming and they notated it, or they were studying movements and were actually checking on that sort of thing. Is it possible we're going to collide with this?
I would have thought like shaking Earth. You would think of something colliding.
Well, Earthfall made me think falling.
I thought it just fell
I like
into
it.
hell.
Possibly.
Yeah, but that's what I would argue for nature, and I think that is a good argument for nature too. But
Yeah, you guys could try nature to go that route and see if you can
Alright.
find anything in that
nature
direction.
is better. I have a 20.
I have a 22 as well, so if you wanted to go ahead and roll on it, since we're even season, I rolled the last one.
All right. Special hands for nature. Hey, at
Ooh,
37. That's not
37.
bad.
That's very
Okay,
good.
so you decide to try and pursue the, see if there's any. You kind of do the hybrid of the two routes, looking into any kind of major natural disasters that were being predicted, or any kind of astrological signs of danger approaching. And looking into both of these, yes, Thassalon had its share of natural disasters. Nothing seemed to be particularly more of a disaster than anything else that was predicted. But looking into some of the astrological stuff, there is, in some of the very latest of the books in the library, like some of the ones with the newest dates, there's a few mentions of a bright streak in the sky. Something very large. Looming in the stars. These are written from the perspectives of astronomers. Some of them seem to... I guess you find two interesting mentions of this. One of them is purely a scholarly type, has no interest in religion or prophecy. They just kind of note the size and shape of this thing that is on its way towards Galarian. It is something massive and could cause a terrible disaster if it were to hit. he notes that he's been studying it over a period of many years, over like a decade or so, and this object seems to be adjusting its course, or it seems to have adjusted its course within the last 5 years or so, and has shifted its direction towards Galarian. He doesn't seem sure that it would hit, but he does express some kind of mild concern. The other reference that you do find is actually from a Lasallan clergy member who lives in Zin Shalast. And they speak of the stars as confirming that the omens are true, that the Aslanti must have done something to anger the old masters, and they speak of this thing, this earthfall, as punishment. There's also mention of having had a meeting with Runelord Karzug, and that preparations have already been underway within the Runeforge. But that's about as specific as it gets. It's kind of just like some meeting notes.
Well, maybe that's why everything is water. We're there.
Who are these old masters? Somebody older than the Aslanti?
Yeah, you haven't seen any other references to these. You're not sure what that could mean. And reading through that full report, they don't really specify much.
Well, regardless, it's another point towards Runeforge.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just need to figure out how to get there.
Did we know where that was? I don't remember.
No, I don't think we found any reference on where it was.
No, you've explicitly not seen any references to a location. And in fact, a couple of times
Probably
you've seen people try to guess at where it could be, but no one seems to know. Even during Thessalonian times.
But supposedly something in Sandpoint might have the key.
Oh, yeah.
That's what Mokmurian thought. So...
I have an idea. Maybe the key is a tuning fork.
Ooh, that's an interesting idea.
Well,
I like that idea,
So
actually.
That's
Even if
why
it's wrong.
Mokmurian had
add the
a
planing...
wand of plane shift.
Aye. Well, let's go find ourselves a tuning fork then. Or at least see what else this key might be, but I like that idea actually quite a lot.
I hope we find like a dozen tuning forks and have to go to different places.
They're all on one of those like massive key rings.
And then you actually go to the right one and all it has is like a key, and you get the key and you still don't know where it is. Like a key and a note, and it's like, figure out these clues 3, and it's like, damn it.
Just give us this one. Alright, well, I think that was it. Was just doing the research on Earthfall, and that's interesting.
So, with that bit of research wrapped up for the night, you tuck in for Betty Bye. And it was Boon Day, it is now Toil Day. Kuthona the 3rd. 4707 AR. It's getting colder by the day. Normal cold for this time of year. It is winter. Even though the Cinderlands themselves tend to be quite hot, this at this elevation, it's pretty cold. Gunn and company, you would make it to the Storval stairs this day, leading the survivors down the massive steps. Takes some time, but you're able to kind of get to the center outpost, or you could go all the way down to the base, either or. Are you planning on waiting for the others here, or are you going to continue on?
No, I think we're going to continue on at least to Ravenmore, if not further.
Okay. So you're able to get some miles out from there. Asher and Greshy, what are you guys up to?
Just the
By this point,
what
all
are
of
the old masters.
all of the giants would have left by now, so you kind of have the whole fortress to yourself.
Ooh.
Do we start building snowmen or something, or?
There's not quite enough
Greshy,
snow on the ground to do that.
You.
Not quite.
Well, just enough for Greshy.
Let's make a little
Greshy
Greshy.
man.
No, but we should probably get going unless there was more research you wanted to do.
Did we want to try to look for the old masters or whatever, or did we just want to give up on that one for now?
I don't know how relevant it is. It's the same question as the Lasala thing. It's an interesting point. I just don't know if it's relevant. And I don't know if we want to take the time to look.
1 hour. 1
2
hour,
days
I'll,
later.
I'll roll a 1, Greshy, and
2
we'll be
days
like, there's
later.
nothing. 1
Well,
hour. I'll catch up with you. I can run really fast as a deer.
no, we'll stay. We'll do some looking to find the old masters. Because I am
And then
curious,
we'll
I
see.
admit.
This one would be an occultism check.
That's Asher. Asher all the way.
And the Aslanti, right? A little bit. Probably find out about them, I guess.
Well, whoever
yes.
it was at the Aslanti would call the old masters.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Hey, a 34.
34. Okay. You, having seen this mention of the old masters, presumably of the Aslanti, decide to go digging to see what you can find about whoever these people are. There's very little information on who these might be. They are only described very loosely in some very esoteric looking texts, to the point where, like, reading the descriptions or just even reading the writing in general, you're pretty sure the person who wrote these, or like who wrote these individual tomes, was probably mad. Very little of it makes sense. But you do find some vague references to they're in one place they're referred to as Algolthu or Algolathu, something like that. His handwriting is a little bit messed up. In one place they're referred to as Aboleths. One of these.
Well, I've heard of them.
Yeah, you the player might have heard of them, but the characters would not.
Yeah,
have.
I've heard of them, but
Mm.
There's some vague mentions of the Aslanti being shaped by their masters, that they were granted the ability to use magic by their masters, and that all that humans do in life is to serve the masters. And the particular tome that has the most information kind of goes off the rails about breaking free from the master's designs and standing up for human rights and
Asher's into this.
Death to the old masters, etc., etc.
Yeah, there we go.
Fight the power.
But they
Guy
seem to
was
be
crazy,
described
but he-
alternately as like human-like people and as massive whale-like creatures of the deep. There's mentions of them coming from the ocean. There's mentions of being brainwashed if you stand too close to the shore. It's all very bizarre.
I'm glad we researched that.
I'm sure it was important. Fish, whale, things that are also humans.
So, before we leave, we didn't want to know anything about any of the other Runelords of which we had.
I mean,
Formal?
we've learned about them in passing, but have we really come across them in terms of, well, threatening behavior?
But we can be so prepared. Maybe they didn't get the bunker. Maybe it was only Karzug.
Perhaps.
You can always come back.
I mean,
This
is there
library
another
will
one
be
you want to
here.
look at? No, it won't. We're
Lies.
gonna leave, and it's just going to. It's gonna be like the owl. It's just going to sink underneath, and then we're gonna get high on cactus juice, and it's gonna be a whole thing.
Yeah, as you guys walk towards
Trying
the
to just
door
look at
to
the
leave,
notes.
there's a save point, and when you touch the save point, it says this is the point of no return. Are you sure you wish to leave the library?
Yeah. We have to stay at the library.
I know my weakness. I can never leave.
No, seriously, the library is
I-
here if you need it again.
Okay.
So
If we want to come back,
We can just
perhaps
fly
by
over
then
here.
Greshy will have learned how to speak Thessalonian himself. Probably
I can
not.
teach you. Oh, okay.
I mean, if you want to teach, that'd be fun,
If
actually.
you ever want to learn, I can teach you. I know how to say chicken and the color red.
I'm pretty
and
sure I
the
should
old
have
masters.
floating.
And brainwashed by the ocean. It's just like spirals.
All
Yeah.
sorts of good things.
Cool. Well, this is a lot of good information. We should probably tell Gunn at some point.
Aye, well, we'll catch up and we'll catch up.
Goodbye, library.
all right, and
I
since
love
you guys
you.
have been good little boys in the library, give you this overview of all the rulers of Thassalon, and that
Oh,
is in your
fabulous.
notes. It's just all the Runelord names, their capital cities, etc.
Wow, there's really only been one of pride
And love.
and lust.
Lust.
Yep.
The younger
Sorshan and Xandergul seem to be the only ones of their station, and nobody else ever replaced them.
No one was interested in killing them.
Look, Sorshan was just that attractive.
Would you
Maybe they
believe
were both
Envy
just
had
very
the,
pretty.
the largest number of Runelords?
No.
I wonder
I love
why.
that.
Greed was right up there, though.
Yeah, Greed's pretty close. Envy has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 Envy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 Greed. Yeah, Greed's second.
I want to know
Yes.
how many years in between each, or if they overlapped years. Of like, yes, Jura is taken, and then the next month.
Are we looking at like
Sardra.
fighting Pope situations where one Runelord says, I'm the Runelord of Greed? No, I'm the Runelord of Greed.
Yeah.
That would require some more digging, but you are able to pull this information from just a single history book that has like the...
Fabulous. Little history primer for the youngins.
Yeah.
I thought they swapped like male and female too for Envy, but there's one where it's two ladies.
Oh yeah,
Killed
two
each
ladies in a
other,
row.
or one
Yeah.
killed the other. Or died a nice death quietly in their home.
All right, what do you guys do? So you spent your first hour or two after getting up and doing your morning prep, looking into,
Mhm.
I guess it was the Earthfall. Oh, sorry, the Old Masters. You guys heading back to go catch up with Gunn?
I think we're gonna go catch up with Gunn. Aye.
Yeah.
Okay, how are you doing that?
I have 2 castings of Phantom Steed prepared for just such an occasion. So I will shrink Phelan down so he fits into my carry-on pocket.
Just kinda
And we're
pop
gonna
him
go
in.
ride some horses.
Okay, and
Aye.
those have a speed of... You're casting these at 6?
80.
Ooh, 80 feet. Holy
Aye.
That is more
Which,
than
if my math
48
is correct,
miles
is
per day.
64 miles.
Yeah, 64
I believe it's
miles.
64
That's-
miles per day.
Yeah, it's only 50 miles to get to Gunn. Not that
As
you
I
would know
said.
exactly where he is. You guys fly. Towards
that's where I
these-
said the Storval stair we could make. I wasn't sure about the rest.
Yeah. So you guys fly towards the Storval stairs over the course of the afternoon. And I guess give
probably
me
catch
a.
up to us right about there because that's where we would be around the afternoon. This, like where I am right now, is where we get at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess give me just like a perception check or a survival check actually.
Sure. All right. Greshy got a 28.
Also,
30.
Gunn would be flying around the people who are walking.
Sure. Okay, so yeah, you guys. So Greshy and Asher probably arrive at the Storval stairs, and then do a bit of looking around to see, like, did they already come through here? You find some signs that they have. You follow the tracks a bit, see that they obviously made it down to the base of the stairs, and then kind of fly off in the direction they seem to have been going, and then easily track them down to Gunn's position, who's flying overhead, and you can see them down on the ground. You can see Gunn flying with on Rock's back. I don't know if you guys want to talk in the air or you can go land.
Probably should try and get further out of the
Just
wind.
start shouting. Hello.
Yeah, let's all land. First.
I will land and we'll kind of go along with the crowd a bit, I suppose.
Okay, so yeah, you guys you land your ghostly kelpies, and Rock drops Gun off. We've reunited after 3 days apart.
Hey, how was the trek?
Uneventful so far. Did you learn anything useful?
No.
Damn.
Learned a lot, Greshy.
Well, hold up.
Well,
You must have been able
Yeah,
to
we
figure
learned
something out to read the books.
I can read so much Thessalonian now. It's
If nothing else,
unreal.
The librarian could have been translating into Jotun and reading to you.
Aye, but that would have taken forever. Asher was actually a lot faster at it once he got the hang of things.
Okay.
Just manically reading.
He was a bit at times. We stayed up quite late one of the nights.
I was super into the old
Then-
masters. That guy was great. Twists and turns in his book. But I guess
The who?
I can recount just like everything as much as possible.
Yeah,
Be
catch
like,
me up
oh,
a
the
little
old
bit
master's
on the
gun.
important
Nobody knows who they are, not even the library. Let's start back at the beginning. And
So at the beginning there were the old masters, and we don't really know who they are. Then after
maybe
that were
whales,
the
but probably not. And they may have mind
Okay.
control, but I don't know about that. Don't stand near the ocean.
So Asher starts going on, starting from the very beginning and detailing
Turns out the
literally
world
every
was
fact.
created by mind controlling whales.
Yes,
Okay.
I would have never guessed.
And yeah, so he's continuing to talk throughout the remainder of the evening's trek, and long into dinner time and long into almost up until you are falling asleep. Asher's kind of still talking, to tell you
Very
everything.
attentive listener.
But you do get caught up on everything you've heard there, unless Asher and Greshy decide for some reason to exclude something. We can assume that you heard all that.
Only by accident would it happen.
Right, I don't think I'd exclude anything on purpose.
Okay.
So,
Oh, well, the thing that I would like to know, that I couldn't say earlier, is what the other gods of that time are still around today and what they have to say about it.
well, you did mention that, what's her name?
Lamashtu.
Lamashtu was
She was
around the same time. I would imagine a number of other gods. Too.
Yeah, other gods you would have seen references to.
Lamashtu and Lysala are different gods, right?
It seemed to be that way, right?
Oh, they exist at the same time, so it's
Mhm.
not like Hannah Montana
But
where
they're
they're
both-
Aye, and they
in
are
the same
referenced
room.
separately, and the iconography for Lamashtu is very different from the iconography for Lysala.
Ooh, can I have drawn a picture of the snake lady?
Sure, yeah.
A very crude and crap. It's crude and crappy.
You draw
I
an
show
S,
Gunn.
and then you draw
Like,
a more different S.
She had a Sahedron face. That was kind of weird. And a snake body.
And wings.
Oh, she had so many wings. 6
She did.
wings.
Lots of wings.
Bug.
So, my second question is she good? Is she evil? And did she change alignment? And if so, was it because her followers changed their practices or vice versa? Perhaps she was deceiving them all along toward these dark versions of the virtues, leading them to the virtues, knowing that they would find that the corresponding sins are more powerful, or when worshipped through her, grant more power as a way of correcting the people.
So
of
you
that
think
time.
that she would have been evil to start with?
It's possible.
I'll say this much, and before I go into the story, because I don't really know it that well, how much would most people know about the history of Zon Kuthon?
Ooh, probably.
The origin, specifically.
The origins of Zonkuthon? Probably not a lot, if anything, really. You can roll
Okay,
a
I wasn't sure
religion
how
check.
All right. See if there's anything to compare what I'm trying to compare to. 31.
31. Which bit were you thinking of? Just the origin of?
I specifically talking about changes.
Sure, Greshy would have heard some about this. It'd be theories, but yeah.
Aye, that well, Zon Kuthon was not always quite the evil, torturous, murdering kind of god that he was started to be. Supposedly he was actually a good god and was tortured and changed that way.
God
So-
was that?
Zon Kuthon.
Like, which...
I believe
alignment?
he's the god of murder and pain.
Asher's
Yeah.
does not know gods.
Hmm.
And neither
wish-
do I.
Murder,
I had
pain,
some-
self-mutilation.
Mm.
He
Hmm.
was the brother of someone else. One of the other gods. I think.
I wish I had a way to ask someone who would really know, like some archon or god themselves.
He was the god.
Really?
He was the brother of the
Good
goddess
fight.
Shaylin,
Hmm.
who's the goddess
Oh.
of
That's actually how I
Right.
found out about it.
music and art, etc. So yeah, Greshy
I-
would know
I
about
wonder if
Shaylin
they
and
would-
know about Zon-Kuthon through that, probably.
Hmm.
I wonder if the gods would like us to try to redeem her somehow, or
I have no idea how one redeems a god.
Nobody
I'm not against
seems
looking
to
into it.
celebrate her anymore,
it
though.
could be something like getting people to worship the virtues again.
Perhaps, I suppose.
That's my thought, is that if people began doing following the virtues with the Sahedron instead of the vices.
If I'm going to be perfectly honest, I'd rather just be done with the whole Sahedron entirely.
So I have a question. I think
we may not get.
I
much
don't
of a
know if
choice
she's
if they're coming
alive.
back.
Like, is she alive? Because gods or whatever can die, right? So
Not
What if
usually
she
of
just,
age,
like-
but possibly some other way.
because
Yeah,
as
you
far
know
as
that-
I know,
You know that
sorry.
Eredin is dead, who was the god of fate, or god of omens. And I think I messed something up last time. Eredin only died in 4606, so 101 years ago was when Eredin died.
Oh, the
Um,
prophecy god.
Yes.
So Greshy almost knew him.
Oh wow.
So prophecies all stopped working about 101 years ago. Eredin became Eredin became a god in 1 AR, which is what the dating system is. So 4,707 years ago was when Eredin became the god of prophecy and humanity.
Basically, gods are complicated. And saving her might be fine, but my concern is more that the Runelords exemplify exactly the kind of corruption that happens from something of the sort. And I don't know if you've talked to humans recently.
Fair.
They're all kind of assholes.
I'm a human,
Hold up.
but I don't talk to other humans.
Did you? Well, I have two more questions then.
Mhm.
Did you find anything to indicate when all of these events might have happened? When the Earthfall would have been
I don't
relative
think
to our time?
I don't think we found any way to compare time
Yeah,
dating their system to our system.
I remember trying, and it was very confusing. Their calendar's very different, and there was an easy way, at least for me, to
Maybe
match them.
if they had some records of Eredin's.
Well, yeah, Eredin existed. Did we read that he was a god when these other people were still around? Because if
No,
so,
he
then the
had
calendars
just-
meshed.
He had just taken the throne of the Aslanti people, so he had just become king of
So-
the Aslanti, which was before he was
Eredin.
before he had
Sorry,
taken the test of the Starstone and become a god.
So, before he was a god, he was a human, right?
Yep, he was just a dude.
Aslanti humani.
So in
So-
general, they have the same lifespan as, say, me. So we can kind of
Yes, though there are humans that have been known to live a very long time through magic or being a monk or being a powerful wizard.
Or
Well,
druid.
that's stupid.
Druids who just
Because
decide,
I was like,
don't
man, if he lived 60 years, then became a god, we could pinpoint when that started. But
Do we think possibly that this Earthfall actually corresponds to when Eredin became a god, and maybe happened in 0 or 1?
kind of, we
Is that
could
possible?
speculate that.
Was
I
he-
wouldn't
was
say
he
there's a
involved
non-zero
in causing
chance.
it? And that
I don't know. I don't
What
think
is the
Put him
Starstone?
on the
so.
path.
Is the Starstone the thing that caused Earthfall?
Hmm. I, as a player, know what that is. Asha would not know. Be like, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
And second question, did we find a way to compare the lands so that we can figure out where all of these places are
A bit.
in the modern world?
We were able to get a decent reference point on a number of things, including seeing, for example, the marks that Mokmiri made were following a particular pattern back in the map before
What about
Earthfall.
making some kind of map with the two overlaid directly?
I suppose I
Find
could
some thin
try?
paper, tracing paper.
Do I have any fancy paper?
Even if you needed to go back to the library to
I mean, you guys, I would have said you guys would have tried to do that, just to overlay them, but you need more point, like the
Well,
the land mass is so different. All you had was, or at least at the time you last tried, all you had was somewhere in the Storval Deep is where Malistoke was.
We have,
I guess we had the bridge and we had the
yes,
borders.
we have the bridge and the old light.
Well, the old light isn't. It's not actually called the old light. It's a series of 4 laser
Yes.
beams. But I don't.
Yes,
Hellfume.
but we know
Yeah, if there's a map
It-
that
it
had
appears
those.
that, yeah, if there's a map that had the hell fumes and the bridge at
They weren't listed on the map as like places or landmarks.
okay.
I think the borders were the borders listed, or was it just like basic? Here's the map. Here's some mountains. Nothing's really labeled super well.
There were like kingdom borders, yes, but it's very vague. Yeah, I think to the point of, I think I kind of drew it before, but it's a color where you can actually
We
see.
should only need 2 accurate points of corresponding to figure out exactly where those ancient cities would have been.
Yeah, that's not super helpful.
Plus,
yeah.
I mean, we would need both maps to be accurate.
Yeah, I think at best, or I guess at worst, right now we kind of know the vague areas that things are in.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the.
Yeah, you know that Sandpoint and Magnamar are somewhere within Elasnus territory. You know that Storval Plateau is roughly within Karzuk's territory. The map that you had wouldn't have even been like a 1-to-1 like scale match with any maps that you were trying to overlay this onto.
Yes, we would need to figure out what the scale is. That would have been part of it. Well, maybe if we find some more landmarks, we can work that out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can really contribute to discovery of a lot of these ancient landmarks and ruins.
What we really need is a magic
Or
device that copies paper.
Hmm.
Honestly.
Or if not the discovery, then the sealing off.
Okay.
Okay, your characters are getting tired.
We're all just like, if we had this.
We sleep.
We just fall over. We sleep.
Yeah,
That's just like a sleep.
it's like 2 a.m. by the time Asher's done talking, and you guys go on in circles a little bit, thinking about various ideas and options and more things you could research and ways to figure out. So, a way to line the maps up properly, and the day passes on to Wheel Day, Kuthona the 4th. Alright. Assuming you guys continue your travels.
How many humans are we taking back with us?
You've got approximately... There's about 50 people total, 20 of which are probably... Or 20-ish are going to stop at Ravenmoor.
Okay, so another 30 will continue on past that.
Correct.
And
Do we
know
have
if
anything
there's-
that can speed up over?
Oh, and the giants would have left
Not
at the
for
Starvall
group.
Stairs.
Mhm.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I have nothing that will do it for that many people. That's part of what I was checking on.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just keep hoving it, I suppose.
Anything we can do to help the slowest
I,
members of the group?
I suppose, I mean, I can make horses. I can cast a number of kelpies to move people along faster. I just don't know how many I can. How many do I need?
Couldn't.
How many horses would it
Sure.
take to bring the average speed up to, say, 20?
Let's bring the average speed up to 20 from 15. I'd say 6.
6 horses. I can do
Yes.
that. All right. 6 people get to ride horses today. Yay.
Okay, you find the 6 slowest people who, by Gunn's eye, have been lagging behind the
Oh,
rest.
hold on. Yeah, because you don't need them to be you don't need them all to be the flying kind,
No,
right?
that's what I'm saying. Is I'm casting it
Ah.
at several. I could cast a whole bunch of them, and I could get like 12 or possibly 15. Do I need 15? If I need 6,
Hmm.
so
No, good call. I forgot that was super heightened to get the
Nice.
flying kind, and that
Okay.
the spell itself is quite simple.
Yeah, so you managed to bump up the overall speed to 20 feet, which would give you 16 miles a day instead of 12. So you guys have made this journey already. You don't need to do any kind of rolling for that. You do need to do some foraging now, though, because you've run out of food for the group.
Finally, I can forage.
I mean, go ahead.
I'll
I
help.
remember. Let me find my foraging.
Yeah, throughout the day, you'd have some opportunities to go do some foraging, especially while people are kind of lagging behind. Anybody who wants to can
Success.
do their survival checks.
If you roll any result worse than a success, you get a success. On a success, you can provide substance for yourself and 8 additional creatures. So 9 people.
Is also trained, and so he can help me find. He can go looking for some like game. Although he's probably, I mean, he's probably more interested in eating his own huntings.
Okay, did you roll that?
Right.
That looks like it rolled. Or did it? No, it didn't.
I
Oh,
got
you have
a
grapefruit.
25 in survival.
Okay.
That
25
means
on
12.
survival is good.
So
Out here, it's actually not that
Success,
hard.
it's 9.
Yeah, that would be a success.
the tent is another 10.
So 9 plus 10 plus create food.
Which is 12, so
I'll roll,
31, I think is what we're at now.
and Rock will roll.
Oof. Eh.
Okay, that's.
I mean, I can prepare more castings of create food if need be.
Yeah, I mean, Gunn and Rock are able to each individually go out and find enough for 4 more people. Each. So I think that covers it, right? 8.
That's 39. Oh wait, no, 39, 48.
48.
So we're about short 2 people technically.
Okay.
Not
I'll just
including
cast
me?
it. I'll just cast again. Well, and Phelan and Rock both will eat a whole lot by themselves, so
Yeah, that's,
That's
true.
true.
Phelan and Rock have.
I'll add an additional casting that should cover Phelan, Rock, and
You do
A
also
couple
have
more people on top,
rations, I
so-
think. Some of you do, so you could use those as well.
Aye, but why?
you.
Why use those?
Okay.
I can make food. It's boring and bland and tastes like basically nothing, but hey, you're not hungry
Mine
anymore.
is disgusting. It's berries and bugs and dead
You're
animals.
offering these poor refugees just the worst rations. Either you can eat this bread that just tastes like air, or you can eat the bugs and mushrooms.
I've cooked them. Look.
Or you can have the Rock comes back carrying like an owl bear corpse. Gunn comes back with like a few like 2 feral hogs. Okay. So yeah, between the subsisting and foraging and everything, you managed to get a good meal for all 50 of you. The day goes on, and we continue on to whatever Thursday is called. Do I remember Thursday?
Oh god, toil? No.
Oath Day. Oath Day. Oath Day.
No, that's today.
Oath Day.
Right.
Oath Day.
It's the day oaths are signed and
Right.
made, pacts are sworn.
No other day.
It's just like the common religious day for if you're gonna sign a pact. It feels good to do it on Oath Day.
No, you're put in jail if you make pacts any other day.
That's how
Never
Avatar
get the
gets
hang
you
of
on
Oath
that
days.
technicality.
Damn.
Okay, Oath Day, Cthulhu the 5th. You guys continue with the same plan?
Let's see.
Maybe
How many horses would I need to cast to get up to, let's say 30 feet average, or 25 feet average.
I'm like, to get to 30, you'd need to cast enough for everyone.
Right, I
Um,
realize that most of them would average 25 at best.
To get to 25, you'd need a total of 16 horses.
Don't think I can do that. 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I can't do that. All right, well, I'll continue with the 6 horses to keep us going at 20 at least.
Okay.
And we'll continue preparing food as well.
All right, so that will be another.
Though actually, I'm just going to heighten the food prep to 6th level, and that way it just feeds 50 people. Because apparently I can just do that.
All right.
But you can still forage and stuff for Phelan and Rock. They still need to eat.
Oh yeah, I'll totally. I know what animals like to eat because I am one too. 29.
29, that is a success. So you get enough for
9
Gunn.
peoples of food.
I guess that's Gunn, Rock, and Phelan.
I should cover them. And
Yeah,
Greshy, I
Greshy.
suppose. Greshy can have whatever.
All right.
He'll just make the food for everyone else. They get the
Uh,
boring stuff. We get the Asher food.
I'll come back as like a large cat and be like, here's a deer. A whole 6 deer.
You just come back as a giant eagle and start horking it up.
He just
Yeah.
keeps coming back with
You're
more
your
deer.
babies.
Look at how much more food I had when I half digested it, guys.
Yum.
Oh no.
My babies. Rock is like into it. He's like, yeah, I know this.
It's
Everyone
been a
else is
while.
like, oh.
Okay, so
Oh, dear.
16, that gets us over here.
Aye, this is gonna take a while.
we're just about there tomorrow. If we push on, we should get everyone in late. In fact, during the midday tomorrow, I'll probably fly ahead and make arrangements at Ravenmore.
Okay. So, yeah, the day will continue on to Fire Day, Cthulhu the 6th. Gunn flies ahead. But you can pretty easily make it to Ravenmoor on your own.
I mean, once we get past like midday, I'll try and fly ahead.
You zoom on.
I will see if I can meet with someone there who is in the town government to try and tell them that we have these refugees coming through that will need a place to stay and need to find a way to get back to their families at Sandpoint.
Okay. Yeah, let's
Most
see.
of them don't have anything with them.
So Ravenmoor is pretty small. When you arrive, the population's only 115. And they do have a mayor. You arrive and tell them that a party of 50 is on its way, and that some of the 20 of those will need some places to stay.
Yep.
They're a bit surprised that half of the town's population is about to show up. But they begin making preparations for some people to stay.
I assume they're all in their human form and not their werewolf.
That was
forms.
Wolf's here.
Well, no, you assume that these were
I think
werewolves.
we find that's every.
That's
every
right.
city that has an animal name.
You're right. My mistake.
There are a lot of ravens sitting in the trees nearby. You hear a lot of cawing as you approach town.
The population might be higher than they told us then.
Are the people at Turtleback Ferry turtles?
You see, I see you understand how this works.
I do. I'm very excited.
Sorry.
Hyperwall.
Oh goodness.
There's snake people, I suppose.
Yeah, they do have one inn there, the Bob and Cork, which is right on the water. They have a small number of rooms that they can kind of fit people in, and one of the farmers also offers up his barn for the rest. So the party, presuming that Greshy does the casting as per usual, you will all arrive late that night. People are a bit tired and a bit cranky, but they push through it just to make that last mile or two to get into a nice warm bed, rather than sleeping out on the hard ground every night. Okay. Yeah, you made it to Ravenmoor.
Luckily, the weather's kept this whole time.
The weather's actually been pretty good. It's been fairly... Once you got out of the mountains, it's been mostly clear skies. Still fairly cold, but some of the people have been shivering. Maybe one or two people have actually caught colds and aren't feeling super great. But the day continues. Oh, you
start
didn't need
preparing
to
remove disease for them as well?
I mean, you could if you want.
I think I'll prepare it for tomorrow, but fine.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Was there anything else I was going to say about that day? You don't need to hunt for food. Hearing the story about what happened to all these people, they offer to just feed them off of some of their spare food that they have in storage.
That's very generous.
Aye.
Sorry, what day it was? It was Fire Day, so it is now Star Day. Kavona the 7th. Okay. Having dropped off 20 of the people, who are going to basically stay in town until they can kind of arrange transportation elsewhere. Some are going to try and take some riverboats, others are going to hire coaches and things to other places. The remaining 30 are with you on the journey back to Sandpoint.
Well, this might be where we should travel on, because there's still rather urgent business to be investigated. How would their journey, how safe would their journey home from here likely be?
If you were
If we
not
left them
to go, if you were not to go with them, then I imagine only a handful would, like maybe 4 or 5, might even bother to try and go back. The rest would all probably just stay in Ravenmoor until they can arrange transportation, like a ferry or
I was
something.
gonna say
similar.
we could pay for their ferry trips without much problem. We're carrying a sack with 20,000 copper in it.
You'll get robbed immediately.
Like, if someone tries to rob us, we'll like just dump the bag on them, and they will stop.
They will die. My legs.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to pay for their transportation, you can.
Can I... Can I make boats out of shape wood?
Ooh, you can make rafts out of shape wood.
Can I make a bunch of rafts out of shape wood and we could float down the river?
I feel like you can make a canoe.
Maybe we
Well,
could,
that's really what I was thinking was
How
canoe
much-
rather than ship. But
how much would it cost to buy 30 seats on the next riverboat
I mean,
that's
negligible,
going-
imagine.
that's going down to at least to Nybor, if not all the way to Magnamar?
I mean, that's kind of the problem. There aren't any riverboats that really of that size that go from Wolf's Ear, which is fairly large, to this town of like about 100. It's mostly just kind of river fishing boats, some loggers.
They'd be here for quite a while. But it does occur to me that I can shape wood up to 20 cubic feet in volume. I could make some rafts. We could try to sail.
Maybe we could go to Wolf's Ear, and as long as it's not a full moon, we could hire a boat there and send them up here to pick up the refugees.
Is it a full moon?
Says they're dangerous as werewolves. It's a big assumption. They could be kind werewolves.
I mean, there's also Roderick's Cove, which is about equidistant from here.
True.
Oh yeah. We can send them across the bay.
That would probably be it, is really we just want to hike that direction and take the long way around.
Hmm.
In fact,
I mean,
why are
Roderick's
why
Cove,
aren't
they
we
would
doing
probably send, like, the current plan
Yeah,
for
that's a
some
good
of the
point.
people is to send for a messenger to Roderick's Cove to send a carriage back to come pick some people up.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly they could request more, more carriages.
I mean, if they need a messenger, we could. One of us could fly there,
Mm-hmm.
get somebody sent back.
Yeah, definitely likely to be faster.
Do we want to escort people to Roderick's Cove so that they can get back home safely?
Seems like that's going to be another 4 days.
Mhm.
I mean, and maybe actually more.
Yeah, if you go through the
So-
Trollwood, it would be more. There's a big
We
forest.
went
in the way.
around it.
Yeah, it's about 66 miles to even go around it.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, the other side is it's 64 miles to go straight to Wolf's Ear.
Right.
And we could take a ship from Roderick's Cove. Just go around the coast.
We could fly ourselves to Wolf's Ear or Roderick's Cove. in a single day.
We could just fly all the way back if that's what you really want to do, but I don't know if you really want to be leaving these people.
No, I just want to make arrangements for them. I think they're back in civilized lands.
Arrange.
I think if we arrange for them to be picked up by either a riverboat or a carriage and leave them a modest amount of money, that we can then get our time back and save the
right.
3 days plus the remaining time. Like, in 3 days we could be to Sandpoint. Just about.
Do we know what the current plans are?
Whose current plans?
Well, you keep talking about just being on time frame. Like, I don't see any reason to waste time necessarily, but I just don't know what the plan is that we're rushing against. We just don't know yet, is the problem.
That's fair.
Doesn't mean we should dilly-dally, of course, but...
Excited for clues.
Yeah, I think the next thing for us to do would be to try to delve down into those ruins of the old light deeper in searching for the key to the rune forge.
It does occur to me, if since we were talking about time frames, we don't know what the Lamia are up to,
Or where they are.
or how much they knew of Mokmurian's plans. So that might actually become important. Time-wise, but otherwise...
Yeah, we don't know necessarily who else is going to try to do what Mokmurian was trying. The Lamia probably knew enough about what he was doing that they might either try it themselves or, continue it themselves, or find someone else who's capable of doing it.
Especially if they're already in cahoots.
Mm-hmm. And if it seems like they know they've all been talking about gathering sin for longer than we've even known about Mokmurian as the linchpin of this plan. The Lamia had their plans in Turtleback Ferry and in Sandpoint and Magnamar for harvesting sin for and I don't think they were doing it for Mokmurian. I think they were probably using him as a major source. But if Lissala is a Lamia god, perhaps they are the actual masterminds, just not the muscle. It's possible. Another aspect to consider is, before we go delving down in those ruins, we may want to try to find some more advantages to make something out of all these funds we've acquired, or find some more equipment that will be suitable for doing such an investigation. And at this point, we might have to fly around to find some specialty type gear.
If we're going to leave, then we should do so. If we're not going to escort them ourselves, we could fly to Roderick's Cove real quick and then keep going from there. Flight, or however we want to get. It would take us about a day to fly to Roderick's Cove. Another day.
I think you guys fly faster than I do.
Probably.
My speed is going to be limited to about 48 miles a day, I think.
Okay, so it'll take us a couple days to get to Roderick's Cove then. Do you want to start flying south and we'll catch up with you then, or I'll catch up and you and Asher can go or something. Or Asher, did you want to just go and take care of it yourself real quick?
Take care of what myself?
Of ordering a carriage and arranging rides for folk at Roderick's Cove.
Oh, I'm really good at haggling. You know me.
Hey, I thought you'd offer.
Great deal.
We have a scroll of scrying. Yes,
I believe so.
we know the name of one Lamia.
Mm-hmm.
We could use that scroll.
Is that why she wanted to know our names? That
Possibly.
just hit me that she kept asking for our names. And I'm like, ooh. But nobody told her anything.
Well, she figured out at some point, apparently.
What a
She cast
jerk.
nightmare.
I was just remembering. She's like, what's your name? What's your name?
I had forgotten about that. That makes
How
sense.
interesting.
How interesting.
Interesting indeed.
Well, plot thickens. I
Those-
could fly by myself too. I think I might have a slower fly speed than Gunn though.
You guys hear a knock at
Honestly.
the door. A very, very, like, you guys are all just in your room at the inn, and there's an angry kind of like,
Jesus. Oh
your
my
cat
god.
around.
Hello.
"Ugh. What are you guys doing? Titus
God damn
Scarnetti
it.
is there at the door. His angry blonde mustache frowning at you, Asher, as you kind of open the door a bit. I thought
What
we were
am I
supposed to be
doing?
leaving
What?
at sunrise. I need to get back to Sandpoint as soon as possible. I have a business to run, you understand.
You know you have 2 legs.
He looks at you, looks down at his legs. But
Just hangs
aren't you
there.
the heroes of Sandpoint? Aren't you supposed to be escorting us?
I'm just gonna look at Gunn. Are we escorting them?
We are determining whether that is the best use of our time.
Determining whether that's the best use of your time. What is this? This is an outrage. Is this what my fine tax dollars go to? A bunch of heroes who won't even escort us back home?
Sir, do you even pay your taxes?
Of course I do.
Shit.
Insight check.
Sure, perception.
34.
There's that kind of like wry smile that appears across his mouth as he says it, that you get the sense that yes, he's technically telling the truth, that he pays the taxes that he owes, but that he probably weasels his way out of as many taxes as possible, and probably pays close to nothing.
Mm-hmm. Greshy takes Phelan out of his pocket and puts him down on the ground.
Now I'll have
Greshy
you know,
dismisses the
this-
effect on the collar.
he's like in the middle of trying to make a point, and Phelan just what's the meaning of this?
I think it's time for his exercise, perhaps. That's all.
Oh,
It's important for him to get his exercise out. So if you don't mind.
Titus kind of adjusts his collar a bit. Fine then. I don't know why I bother with this anyway. And he goes stomping off back to his room.
Borf.
So we need to pay for 29 people's rooms and travel.
What do you get the
He
feeling
pays
that-
his taxes.
His
I'm
taxes
sure
will
he'll
take
get
care
a
of
free
it.
room.
That'll be fine.
I'm not escorting him anyway.
But he's not wrong though. There's others,
No.
and we are kind of. I don't want to say we're responsible because I didn't adopt Standpoint, but I do like the town. I do like the people.
I mean, I agree. I want to make sure that they all get home safely. Even Titus Garnetti.
So, why don't we take them to Roderick's
Okay,
Cove?
without him.
We'll get them on a ferry. We'll make our own way back from there. Because we can get back faster, but once they're on a ship, I mean, they should be set. Unless we're also to face off pirates, which I suppose we could do. But I get kind of seasick, so.
Well, here's my next question then. Where are we going to find the kind of equipment that we'll need for a deep delve into the old light?
So places that have items, Roderick's Cove is a port city. They would have some shopping available. Riddleport has more, but Riddleport is also known as being a den of thieves and pirates. So there's some danger to going there, but they do have a
Gunn
lot
will blend
more
right
stuff.
in.
Gun, a thief, and/or a pirate?
Mhm.
I don't see it.
And obviously, I guess in order of like who probably has the most stuff, it's probably like Riddleport at the top, then Magnamar, then Roderick's Cove, then Sandpoint, as far as the coastal cities.
Unless we want to go all the way over to Corvosa.
Yes, Corvosa would have even more,
It's-
but that's outside the scope of this adventure.
Corvosa's
That-
also completely at the other side of Varisia.
Where
I
is-
see, yeah,
oh my
that's-
god. Isn't that the place where the
Well-
angry people live?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
also
I see.
where the Curse of the Crimson Throne takes place, the next AP. So if we continue on,
we also have the
he'll be
option
over here.
to. We also have the option to send away to. I forget his name every time. Stranzelplom. To find out what's in his inventory these days.
Sure,
Yes,
we can
you
definitely
can
do that.
request a pamphlet from him.
So say we go to Roderick's Cove with the people, we get them a boat to go woo-da-doo-doo-doo down to Sandpoint, and we shop. Is that a crappy plan?
I think
No,
it's a fine plan.
I think it's a fine plan.
At some point, I wouldn't mind 4 days of downtime to start trying to craft stuff, though.
I definitely need more arrows. At least the bare minimum.
But we should.
I mean, arrows you can probably buy here.
Well, yeah, I could buy them anywhere. I do need them, though.
Sounds like a good plan to me, though.
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool.
Right.
And done.
Okay. So this day, Star Day, Cathona the 7th, you guys end up going. You take the survivors towards Roderick's Cove. Are you going?
It's a
Yeah. Gonna go around the forest. Because going through the forest only saves a few miles.
16. That's 16 times 2. That's
32.
32. And then another 16.
48.
48.
48.
64.
64. Okay. So 1, 2,
So 4 days.
3, 4. 4 days time.
Hmm.
Assuming you guys kind of keep on your same plan of casting spells to speed up the slowest and feed the hungry.
We could even buy a couple of horses or rent them out, buy them and resell them if they have any to spare.
At Ravenmoor, they
at
only
Ravenmoor?
probably have like 2 horses to spare. It's very small.
They actually need their horses.
All right, maybe a cart.
Yeah, they're
I don't know
they have a
if
cart
if
for
a
sale.
Thestral can pull a cart.
I think you need 2,
Or whatever
but I mean,
these
you
are.
could use 2 Phantom Steeds if you wanted.
True. I could prepare a couple more castings if need be. Would that get us there any faster? To get a cart?
Let's see. What do I think? A cart speed... Where's the speed on the cart? Is the speed of the pulling creature.
Well, that could be
Wow.
very fast.
Very fast start.
I mean, if I heighten it at
Oh,
all,
sorry.
it's 60
A regular
feet.
cart only has 1 passenger, though. You would need something bigger than that to... Where's the list of vehicles? Vehicles.
We get like a light chariot.
I feel like a chariot is smaller than a car.
A wagon
But a
would
wagon
fit
is
2.
the smallest.
A carriage would also
Carriage
fit
is bigger.
2. They would have a wagon
Like
available for 25 gold, which can fit 2 people in it.
Will it actually speed us up? Probably not.
Mm,
Because it's going to take
Probably
two Phantom Steeds to pull it, and it'll only fit 2 people in.
It'd be the
Side.
same as just putting them all on the Phantom Steeds.
I mean,
So, it's-
I think you could probably fit more people than that in the wagon. It's only for a couple of days. Yeah, if you bought a wagon for 25 gold, you could speed yourself up to yeah, you could at least get to 25 speed by getting all the injured people off their feet.
I bet you that still wouldn't save a day.
We'd get there very early in the 3rd day in the 4th day instead of at the end of the 4th day.
Because what does that increase it to? 20?
20.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Well,
get there.
Up
that
to you if you want
night
to spend
on
the money or not.
the 3rd day.
I think we're fine.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we'll just go without then.
Okay, so 4 days pass.
The one thing that
Oh no. Yeah, go ahead.
The one thing that we should decide is if we want to use that scroll of scrying,
We don't have to decide right now.
unless we want to use it during this trip.
I had no intention
Like-
to. I
okay.
mean, we can if you really think it's important, but
Well,
It's-
if we figure that the Lamia are going to get back on their plan, how long do we want to give them to stabilize, to settle, to arrive wherever they're going to be and to settle in before we spy on them?
I have no idea. I'm not even sure they're the ones we want to spy on.
Fair.
Because they're a
Alright,
threat,
Yeah,
for sure, but...
let's not use it for now then.
Okay.
So
Okay. So you guys take the 4 days to travel instead to Roderick's Cove. You arrive on Wheel Day, Kuthona the 11th. After relatively uneventful travel, you do... actually... Let's see if you come across anything interesting on the way, but... just for the sake of fun times... there we go. Give me a D100 Asher.
100 times. Yeah. 52.
52. Okay. Yeah, you come across... on this day, you come across a band of 4 goblins. At one point, maybe on the 3rd day of travel, you come across a small band of 4 goblins who kind of get spooked as you are going past, but they eventually they're kind of like hiding. They seem to be stalking you guys for a bit, stalking the group. But eventually, one of them comes out. holding a small bag, and is like,
Excuse me.
is like poking at Asher.
Hello.
Uh,
Oh, hi. Hey,
you-
what's up?
Hello, greetings, human. Do you want trade?
Oh, what are you trading for?
Yes.
Oh, you want trade? Yes. I'm trading for, let's see, what do I have in here today?
He opens up his bag and is kind of rifling through it, and first pulls out a very large, like a thick pickle. It's like it is a massive, like girthy, short pickle.
I have these, spicy pickle. Do you want spicy pickle?
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me see what I have. Ooh, I have 2 of these candles that burn forever and won't burn you.
Burn forever.
His eyes go really wide.
Yeah, and they'll never
give.
go out.
Pickle.
There you go.
And he hands you the girthy pickle, and you give him 2 ever-burning candles.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
And he goes running off, leaving behind his sack of treasure. He's so excited by the candle that he didn't even remember to get his bag. And by the time you notice or try to say anything, he is long gone, along with his 3 companions.
Is the bag filled with pickles?
You can open the bag if you want, yeah. You look through it.
Yeah, I'm gonna open the bag.
There's an empty jar of, was empty jar, but it was just a jar of pickle juice, that presumably had the pickle in it. There's also a bundle of raven feathers, freshly plucked, and a few other kind of just oddball items, as well as a single golden ring. Very, very simple, nice looking design. Has actually what looks like a Thessalonian rune carved into it. It looks old, kind of,
man.
maybe like a little bit rusty.
Ancient ring.
Just put it on.
Immediately
Just wear it.
put
Just
it
wear
on
it.
and become invisible and see fools.
Asher puts it on and gets stabbed right away.
Guys, don't put on this ring.
It hurts.
Do you put it on?
Do it.
No, can I tell if something's magic, or do I have to bring this to Greshy?
If you have
I don't think I
detect
can tell
magic,
if
you
something's
could
magic.
you could tell if it's magic. Yeah, you need either detect magic or read aura. Once you've confirmed that it's magic, you could do an identify. I mean, you could try and identify the item as is.
Okay, let's see if I can do that. What would I roll?
This would be an Arcana check.
Ta-da!
How bad could it be?
Not bad, 31.
Not bad at all.
31. Okay.
Very nice.
This is you've heard about these before. This is a ring of minor arcana. It allows you to cast either detect magic, mage hand, or prestidigitation once per day. Oh, sorry, any number of times, or just once per day?
Cute.
Any number of times. But they're only at level 1, unless you're an arcane caster.
Oh man, I'm gonna put the ring on, and then I'm gonna mage hand and tap Greshy on the shoulder. Make it disappear.
Obviously, you should have put the ring on and detected magic on the ring using the ring. Determined that it was magic.
Magic though.
It is magic. It works.
So yeah, it's the Ring of Minor Arcana. But yeah, you put it on and then point out your hand towards Greshy, and a like an orangish spectral hand like shoots forth and gently taps Greshy on the back.
It
What was that?
disappears. Whoa, this is the best ring ever.
Not sure what that was.
So, wait, you saw it said once a day or multiple times, like a cantrip?
Any number of times each day.
Any number of times each day. Yep.
I'm gonna do it to Gun.
What?
Up on your shoulder with my mage hand and make it disappear. I'm playing pranks with my new ring. Ooh.
Finds an
Where did
ancient
you-
Thessalonian artifact. Starts playing pranks with it immediately.
Oh, neither.
Did you just find that?
Oh
What-
yeah, it was in the sack.
As he's like,
I traded with a goblin. Or 2 candles, and I guess I get this cool ring and a pickle.
what? That sounds like a good deal.
You should put the pickle in your gross water jar.
Oh my God, Greshy. That's
Do
such
you
a good
want-
idea.
To fight an evil pickle, because
Alright,
that's how you fight an evil pickle.
You know,
No,
now
we're
that
gonna-
you
we're gonna
describe
do
it that
it.
way.
alright. We got the jar. We're
Asher
putting the pickle
pulls
in.
out the jar of dank gross water that's been festering in his bag for
Lean
a
away.
month. There's this like
Drop
thick
that.
layer of just mold on top.
Pickle drop.
You unscrew the jar and pop the top open, and there's like this fine cloud of dust.
Ooh.
Oh, I wish I had prepared more. I didn't prepare remove disease today. Oh, that was a
The
mistake.
pickle won't need it.
That's not what I'm worried about.
And you drop the pickle in, and there's like a as it splashes in the kind of congealed water. Some over spills the sides, and the pickle immediately starts to like kind of shrivel and turn black.
Alright, I'm gonna put the lid back on.
Okay. you put the
Didn't
lid
give
back
me any more
on, kind
insight.
of tighten it as tight as you can. The pickle's starting to give off this kind of like it's turning blacker and blacker, and eventually it turns like Vanta black. Like you can't see all you see is just like the outline of the pickle. And it's giving off this kind of sinister, dark aura.
Oh, good. I have a dark aura pickle. Greshy, can you read this aura?
Can I read aura on the dark aura pickle?
Sure. Necromancy.
Suppose that makes sense. Don't eat the pickle. Don't eat the pickle.
But it could be good. Well, I'll keep this, and we'll think about it later. Maybe someone will know what this is. I guess I never got it looked at.
No.
Yeah.
You tried, I think, but they didn't know.
Maybe I won't drink it. So I don't know. The outline of the pickle's still fresh.
Well, with that thought, Asher tucks the pickle jar into his bag, and you guys continue towards Roderick's Cove, arriving there, as we said, on Wheel Day, Cthulhu the 11th. And that is probably where we should end the session. We probably should have did it 30 minutes ago, but that's okay. Thank you, everybody, for playing. Hope y'all all had fun. Now that you're in Roderick's Cove, if you want to do some shopping, we can do some of that offline.
Yep.
Yeah, just let me know what you're looking for, and we'll see if you can find it. Otherwise, thanks everybody for joining us. We're getting close to episode 90, as
Woo.
Book 5 continues. Yeah, As usual, you can find all our old episodes on youtube.com/thirdaction, or follow the podcast feeds, whatever one you want. Just search for Third Action versus Rise of the Runelords on your favorite platform. Or follow Third Action Show at Twitter. Or follow me at Critical Ham on Twitter. I'm there too. Or you can follow these punks, but I don't know if they have Twitters. Anyway, good night.
Man's locked.
Right.
Farewell.
Come in.
Secret. Asher's a secret. You shall not know Asher's secrets. Good night.